The BTK is running successfully, and I don't know what to say about sparks and fires that haven't been said already. All I can say is got glowing reviews, and rightfully so. And so I'm going to be talking with filmmaker Gautham Menon about the questions that this film has raised and the reactions it's elicited. Hello and welcome, sir.
Hi.
Like I said, this is a film set in Gotham City starring Atman.
I really like that. It's a really nice line, actually.
I really liked the film as well, so that's mutual appreciation there. Your third film with Simbu
Yes,
there?
yes.
It's a hat trick.
Yes.
Would you say most successful yet, perhaps?
I'm not sure in terms of numbers. So, Vendhu Thanindhathu also took like a very slow opening, and then it became what it finally became. Acham Enbadu, I think, was released right during the demonetization time. So we even had people telling us not to release the film, and so it collected what we had in mind. So I think, yeah, in terms of numbers, this could be the bigger success in that sense. Yeah.
But leave numbers. What about performance-wise?
As a film,
yeah, as a film.
If you ask me personally, I'd put my finger on this film. Yeah.
I think so as well, especially when you take Simbu's performance. The fact that it is commendable for an actor, any actor, but an actor who's already a star in a certain mold, for you to break that mold and to instill some innocence that I haven't seen before, I think that's some effort on your part and the actor as well. How did that happen? Because it couldn't have been easy for sure.
So somewhere, I've been reading reviews saying Gautham has stepped out of his comfort zone and all that stuff. So in that scenario, if I didn't know Simbu was capable of something like that, and then step out of my comfort zone also, I wouldn't have even attempted it. I know he's capable of this. We have a very super understanding on the sets. Like what I want, I know will come to me with minimal effort in like a single take sort of a thing. And I look forward to that. And his physical look and what he did in the film, he was also going through a transformation in life also. I think he was away for 6 months. He'd stop eating meat. He'd become a vegetarian in that sense and all that. So I got him at that time. We were all set to make a love story, which was the coffee shops and the expensive cotton shirts and what people are actually being sarcastic about. That's not there in this film, in a good way. It was that, but a very interesting love story about a superstar actor. The story was about an actor. And a woman, obviously. But then I somehow heard this line from Jaymohan sir, the writer, and we interacted a bit. And then I went to Simbu and said, this is what I want to make. We'll keep that on hold for a bit. So he heard a 2-hour narration from me, and he said, I understand. There's a smile on his face. I know why you're trying to do this. I'll do this, he said. So I said, this 20-year-old, then there'll be like a 3 years later, and then maybe 2-3 looks within the film. He said, I'll give you all that. Give me a couple of months to start shoot, he said. So we went into prep for the shoot. We didn't discuss anything after that. The next time we met was for a costume trial where I fixed the look. This is what you'll be wearing. These are the clothes and stuff like that. And then the next day was shoot. So on location, he came to me and he said, okay, this is the first shot and I'm going to take this body language. So I said, this has to be maintained right through. And where's this from, I asked him. He says, no, somehow I feel these boys will be like that. And I know somebody who also does these things, so I'm going to keep watching him and then I'll keep bringing this to the sets, he said.
That's a very learned awkwardness he brought, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So he just, like, you asked me how old he is, right? And then he was playing 20. And so beautifully, I thought, and there was not too much of discussion between us as back and forth, no, let's not do this. I picked whatever he wanted to do. And he took from my meter of what I wanted. A lot of single shot sequences which were tough.
So it's like a relay race, basically.
Absolutely, and we've always worked like that. We've always worked. Even lines and all, I don't give it to him much in advance because he's a very raw, organic sort of an actor. He looks at the lines and then he comes up with the expressions. If I train him or rehearse with him too much, then I feel we've always lost out on the magic of that first take. So it's very on the go, and then he picks it up. I'm not even exaggerating, there's not a single take where I remember going and telling him, can we do one more? Because I didn't like what he did, Just the single shot sequences because of the camera work and everything, we had to do a couple of more takes. But otherwise, he was there, right there. And I was very sure he'd give me that.
When it comes to Gautham Menon's films, one, you have the love story. Another, you of course have the gangster side of it. A love story, I understand how you know. They say write what you know. How do you know so much about gangsters? I don't think you're going to give me an honest answer.
No, I think I am one. I have those streaks in me. I want to be
And then
one.
a
I don't know how.
street cred, huh?
I don't know how this is going to be perceived, but I have. I think everybody has that in them. I think we draw a line, we don't cross the line, right? And I draw many lines, but then I have those things in me. Like I can be as local as possible. I mean, yeah, I can be as. No, yeah, you spend some time with me, you'll know that. I'm sure. I can be as
we
local
know
as
you
possible.
Really urban, articulate. Well, படத்துல நிச்சயமா ரெண்டு இங்கிலீஷ் லைன் இருக்கும் ஆனா இந்த படத்துல இல்லையே.
That's a good thing, right? I mean, that's what people are, I don't know. So it took a lot of time to establish that, right? That's what I keep saying. It took about 8-10 years of work to establish that these are the kind of films that I make. That's not easy in a filmmaker's journey. That doesn't get established in film one.
I agree.
And you see a lot of films and then you know there's a stamp or there's like a trademark that this director believes in and this is what his work is like. I always want to narrate those stories. These are all from life, characters that I know. I'm Jesse, I'm Karthik, you know, I'm all those characters. But somewhere along the way, I've also looked to collaborate with writers. I worked with Reshma on Needani and Ponvasandam and Queen, which was so liberating for me as a director. And then this meeting with Jay Mohan happened, and I'm so looking forward to collaborations with him, which will obviously help me get into these other zones that I've not sort of, you know, toyed with or experimented with earlier. And this is a very experimental film in that sense.
But as a filmmaker, I feel you are so respectful when it comes to your writer, when it comes to your actor, and of course when it comes to your music director. You know, you give him the kind of, you elevate his music and vice versa, that happens to you. Do you think respect is very important to you as a filmmaker? I feel like that is definitely one of your strengths, the fact that the respect you give and the work you get back.
No, thank you. But yes, respect, credit. I mean, you saw the film. So the film is here, and the music stays one notch above. You know, elevating scenes and also making the scenes work in a better way. I had a conversation with him after he played every track to me. Like every scene was discussed. He showed me the film with the music. He changed some things around. I asked him for a few changes. Suddenly in the middle of a session, he said, we'll do a Malayalam rap here. Because, you know, the villain's entering our Malayalis, so let's do a, from their point of view kind of a thing. And he got Neeraj Madhav, who acted in the film, because he heard Neeraj rapping on stage at the audio launch. So it was all on a whim and instinct, and I loved that. And all my films are shot like that. And he kept telling me, I know there's a deadline, I know we're running late and all that, but if you want any changes, let me know. His team was like, so please take it and go, please, because producers are calling and all that stuff, you know. So, like I said, he lifted the film, and I have to give respect, you know, to somebody who's done so much of work and still found time to actually work on this film and put it out there in a big way, and the songs also. That Mallipu song sequence was actually only a scene in the film when I narrated the story to him. He told me it's a great moment. I know you have that musical kind of a song on the terrace. Then there's a travel song which will come through the film and all that. And there's a duet at the end, you know, with the wedding and all that stuff. But what about this video moment, which is a scene? Why can't we explore that like a song? Now think of it like a song and then come back and tell me, he said. So I actually called the lyricist and asked her if we can write something about a woman's angst. You know, she's not met her husband in many years and they've not even, you know, he's not come home. And that kind of pertains to everybody else there, you know. And so Tamare came up with these beautiful lyrics, and that's how that song was born.
Yeah, Tamare was also such a big strength to the film, and those lyrics were also
so everybody got together to make this film work. I think Simbu first, because he's a star, right? And there's a fan following. There's like a huge audience that sort of laps him up in that way, and they expect those moments from him.
So the last segment was the fan pleasing segment.
So for him to shed all that, you know, and then to do this was like tremendous, I thought. And not a single question.
That transformation, and you didn't even give him so much heroic action, you didn't give him so many heroic moments that many stars would have demanded, I feel.
Absolutely. There was nothing from him, no discussion, absolutely spot on with whatever I'd asked him to do. But he knew that there were these points at every moment that would put him out as that, you know, that hero sort of a thing. Like the scene where he walks in to ask for her hand with her parents. Outside where she talks to him, you know, so these were simple moments between boy and girl, but then somewhere he also knew these moments would work. And like you said, the last 5 minutes was purely because, you know, I hadn't done anything like that in the film, and I thought, let's do this for him. He kept asking me to push it somewhere for him, and I did that.
But okay, you know, I agree that your love stories are definitely the highlight. You know, I always say Kadalna, Mani Rathnam, Gautham Menon padum pola irukonu.
That's
But
okay.
why do you feel you had to put a love story? You could have worked without it also.
So honestly, the writer J. Mohan, who's very prolific, has written so much of stuff. When he narrated the story to me, he said, "Take it and you feel free to do whatever you want with it." And we collaborated at every point. Whatever I wrote, I talked to him and stuff. So he called me one day and he said, "My wife tells me that you've given a story to a romantic film director with no love scenes in it. I don't think that's fair." So he said, "I'm worried. There will be an audience from your side that will expect that." And Pave was in the script. There were moments where Muthu goes to meet Pave on the terrace where she's sitting, and there's a small conversation between them, nothing that is like what you saw. He said, "Push those scenes a lot more," he said. So when it came from him, and who's not seen many of my films, and I thought, why not? So then there was like a very confident go ahead sort of thing coming from him, which is why I pushed that. And this is, I know it's reached out to a lot of women in the audience,
Yeah,
and
of course.
People.
You do it best, of course. There's no doubt
thank
about
you,
it. I'm
but,
just asking, would it have been? It would have been okay without it as well.
It would have been okay, but then I'm working with AR Rahman. I wanted to have the songs, and I wanted the film to reach out to a lot more audience, because otherwise it gets into a slightly dry, maybe arty kind of a zone. I don't know. I'm just
Could be.
Yeah.
I agree. Maybe it just helps them reach out more. But this film, why? Like we were just discussing before, it takes so long for a filmmaker to establish his style. You established your style very soon. But very soon after that, you wanted to break that style as well. Why? And this film is the biggest departure from your signature style, from what I've seen.
Minnale was my first film, which was Rehna Hai Tere Dil Mein in Hindi. My second film was Kaka Kaka, completely different from Minnale. So I'd already broken that with Kaka Kaka. And the next film was Vettayadu Vilayadu, which was a serial killer police investigation film with Kamal sir in the lead. Then I made a film called Pachekili Muthucharam, where the woman protagonist seemingly is actually the bad apple sort of a thing, So I think I've always tried to be different about it, but there are, like your tweet today, there are certain staples that will come
and we
through.
Look forward
in
to
that
it also,
film.
because
some people look forward to it.
When
some people
we
say
see that wedding night, something is going. It's ominous. It's not going to be smooth sailing. And like that's it.
So then some people say, I look forward to that. Some people say, I'm doing the same thing again. So I can't really please everybody.
I think it's a mix.
It's a mix.
It's like some motives work, and you can scatter them around, but then you take some away to surprise the audience. And I feel like you served us quite a few surprises.
So I've traversed now down this path.
I'm
not saying it like I'm talking about myself, but are there other filmmakers who can do both, is what I'm asking, like a very classy urban character sort of a thing, and also try the village boy who moves to the city and in the underbelly and stuff like that. So I don't know if people can actually straddle both.
I don't know how you do that. I don't know, because it seems very authentic in that stylized space. It seems authentic in that in the space that you have created. So for somebody who I'm guessing doesn't have too much knowledge about gangsters who have, or do you? I don't know.
No, so when you get into something, you actually read up. So J. Mohan sir actually is based this on somebody he's met. Muthu, who works in this parota kada, who is also used by the bigger bosses to carry out small criminal activities or whatever. He said he's met somebody like that. Now we didn't want to meet that person, but I picked his brain to a large extent. I kept talking to J. Mohan sir to figure out. I read a lot of books myself. I read also. And Kaka Kaka had Pandya, which set off this for me actually. So at that time I met a lot of police officers to figure out how these guys work. And he said it's always, they're very low lying and everything, but if they come back, it's only to, to strike vengeance because of something that happened, which is why Kaka Kaka happened. It was because you took on my brother, I'm going to come after you now. That's their mindset. Otherwise, they're very low lying. You won't see them hanging around and stuff like that. And they celebrate in their own way. And there's that streak in everybody, I'm saying, and I push that streak a little more, I think. So it's not really tough.
And I found it very poetic, the way you spoke about the gun and violence, the cycle of violence, and the power of the gun over the person.
That's what drew me to the film itself, to the script itself, because when J. Mohan sir started talking to me, the first 15 minutes of the film that you saw was a short story that he'd written. And he'd left it open to the reader's imagination. A boy traveling to Mumbai with a gun. That's it, the story is over. So then I went to him saying, I want to make a low-lying gangster film, not about the bosses, about the...
Cogs.
Yeah, about the, correct. So then he said, this can go there. I asked him, so how? So he said, this gun that he's taken with him, there's a moment where he meets one of the bosses and that man tells him, you didn't pick up the gun picked you. The gun draws the person that will fire the gun. And once you fire the gun, there's that power comes in. I said, wow, this I want to do. It was this line that he actually narrated to me. And I said, this is deadly in a very negative philosophical sort of a way, right? So I said, let's get into this immediately. So this line actually made the entire script. And then there was a lot of discussion and he wrote this for me. Yeah.
Whether I agree with it or not, you definitely said it very convincingly.
Yeah.
This fateful
That's
destiny that the gun brings. Yeah. You know, of course, make it come true. Now the name Muthu, since you brought it up.
Yeah.
Muthu, 100% it's a callback to Rajnikant's character because I heard the whistling as well. I didn't miss that.
Oh wow, super. Okay, nobody's asked me this till now.
I heard it, yeah.
So Muthu and all the other names in the script were all Jai Mohan sir's creation. Everything was put there by Jai Mohan sir and I didn't change anything about it. But he was not Muthu Veeran, so we added that Muthu Veeran thing. And because he's Muthu, and because it's Rahman sir doing the music, I did that whistle in the on post sort of thing.
Yeah. Mannu mela manidana kaase. Yeah, of course. But you served us a lot of curveballs there as well, Gautham. So I think, here's a gangster flick that that ticks all the right boxes, but leaves some unchecked as well. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. What about the reactions that you're getting? Are you enjoying?
I'm enjoying it more than any other film of mine because I see, even if I'm staying locked up in a room and I try not to read reviews to a large extent, even other films' reviews. I'd like to watch a film without reading reviews.
Same.
I do that. But like I've been saying, even if I'm stuck in a room, I'm locked up in a room, I'll get the vibe somehow. And this time, especially over my phone and people calling me and telling me, it's much more than any other film of mine. The reviews per se are always mixed. For me, it's like 50-50.
No, this time
it's like an 80-20 sort of a thing, which is what I was going to say. So we're all very happy. The whole team is very happy. Yeah.
And it also had this whole Macbeth kind of, that callback to the blood on the hands, which was there in another film also of yours, Pavakarthegal.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
So that's a continuing theme. Can I see it?
Yeah, so that's also
forward.
something that was there in the writing and it drew me to those lines, the writing was so powerful, I thought. So, yeah.
I like it when a filmmaker puts in so much effort, then first watch you have so much to ask, and I'm sure repeat watches I'll have more questions, but I'll let you know, go Gautham. I know other people have a lot of questions as well, but thank you so much for answering all of them so patiently.
Thank you so much, and I'm going to borrow that line from your tweet somewhere.
You must. Gotham City and Atman.
Yeah,
superb,
that,
iconic. Thank you, Gautham sir.
Thank you.